Anthony Solar.
Howdy.
So you rocked up here number 1 on your bike. How are you feeling today?
Today was alright. It was we got through it.
How are you feeling, bud?
We've had a bit of a rough start to this event. We've been pretty crook the week leading up, and yeah, lining up for Prologue yesterday, I definitely didn't feel right. And yeah, if you watched me ride, you would have seen that. I was all over the shop.
You're very quiet this weekend too. Not your normal self. Not buzzing about as much.
Nah, I sort of just tried to get through. The organisation wasn't there. Everything in the lead up to this event was just wrong for me.
It's probably the closest event to your hometown too.
Correct. Yeah, this is the home one for me. So
it's not going to get any easier for you when it comes down to that.
No, that's
travel wise and so on. But
yeah. And
you've been here since day one. You've raced every event here. You've actually been involved with setting this property up at some times.
Yeah, I don't know if I've done every event, but definitely.
You reckon you missed one?
For the first one? I don't know. No, probably not. But I definitely was here for the first one.
You're definitely the first one. I don't have memories of you missing an event, so I would take an assumption that you've been to them all.
Yeah.
And you, like I just said, you've been part of the crew here on the original, the original interview of the property.
Yeah.
You were part of that.
Yeah.
So some of these tracks actually got your blood, sweat and tears on them.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So
it's changed a bit over the years. From what we thought was hard then to what we're doing now is, yeah, substantially different. Like today's track, it was certainly challenging. Like there was nothing. It wasn't an easy track by no means.
How did it progress over the laps? Because at the parts of the track that I went to, the dust was getting deep. Was that causing you concern?
Because it was pretty, virgin ground on a lot of the tracks today. Some parts got better, like, once a rut starts to form, it's something to sit in, you don't wash down the hill as easy. And other spots, yeah, certainly got harder. Just big holes and you get rocks exposed. So
hit something you can't see because the dust is.
It's a bit of give and take.
Deep.
Like it's just it is what it is.
Mate, you've come in as the former Australian champion. What do we say? Former Australian champion? Still the champion. You're the man. Are you changing anything this season? Have you stepped up anything? What's going on? Is it a new bike? Is the routine different for training? Diet-wise, what's Anthony Solar doing now?
Bit of everything. We've got the Sherco, the 300 Sherco for 25 is a different shape. So we've been going pretty hard in the off season to get it set up and work out everything that we need to do to make it the best it could possibly be. Because having the last iteration of that last model, we had it dialed and worked out, so we're sort of starting from square one again. It's still a good platform, we've just got to tweak it a little bit. And then as for my training, I've just stepped everything up a little bit from last year, because I know all the other boys are, apart from Wade.
Wade, mate, I've done an interview with Wade. We've chatted about Wade with Ruben as well, but if you've come to this interview first, Wade was well ahead of the crew, 10 minutes on him, and he's dusted his bike.
Yeah.
Guy hasn't done a minute of training.
Yeah. Well, honestly, Wade, these are his conditions. Cozzy is very suited to him and his riding style. And even though he doesn't ride that much, you can never count him out. When he's on, he's on. It's he's a legend.
That's he's a humble guy, and he was saying that he doesn't even think his riding style is that good to watch and so on. He's an aggressive rider. That bike, yeah. It was always just a couple of RPM above you guys. He just holds that bike a little bit harder than most riders, and
yeah.
I feel sorry for the bike. Maybe a little bit more time put into the air filter and oiling it and greasing it might have helped him, but
or just clipping it in might be a good start.
Oh, have you looked inside the airbox?
No, apparently he didn't clip it in.
Yeah, sometimes he doesn't put oil in his fuel, sometimes he doesn't put his air filter in. He's gonna know.
He's just having fun.
Yeah, but so we've talked about you got a new 25 bike, but you've just come off the championship winning 24 bike. Is it a risk going to a new bike?
It's not a risk. I mean, I might not gel with the bike 100%, which I didn't at first for Hard Enduro, but it's just slightly different. We just got to tweak it slightly different, and we just got to put some research and development in, and just get that thing tuned right. And like, I'm pretty comfy now. Like there's not many pros, and I'd say it was probably slightly better than the last model for sure.
Obviously, it's going to be better. No manufacturer is going to build a bike worse than their last model.
No.
And it's new, so it's going to be tight. But you must have been so ingrained with that 24. It must have felt like a third leg. You must have known what that bike was going to do, no matter what the conditions were.
Yeah.
And now you're on a new bike. Are you confident? Is it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like apart from this weekend, I'm riding better than I ever have. I'm fitter than I ever have been, and yeah, it's just a matter of putting it together. Like this weekend, like we came, and although I was off, still put some decent times in and got a decent result, and we've got a few things to change. Like it's a bit of a learning process. So now this is the first race I've actually done on the bike, so we've got a few things that we need to change, but we're 95%. We just need to work on that last few percentage.
Well, let's chat about your weekend. Saturday morning, well, mid-afternoon, you lined up for your Prologue race. We tried something different this season. We've gone a dead edge in the start. How'd you feel about
that? I don't know. Same.
Same.
Just the start.
Yeah, just the start. I'm concerned. It comes back on me. I love a noisy start line. I love hearing the bike sitting on the limiter until that flag drops.
Yep.
With the dust, I thought I'd slow down the start. Didn't seem to make any difference. Everybody still took off like crazy.
Yeah.
How did your start go?
It wasn't too bad. I was actually, I had quite a good start, to be honest, and maybe like because it was split off into different sides of the start
line.
There's two different sides.
Yeah, start line's wide enough for like 80 odd bikes. I put chicanes.
It just sort of funnels.
Yeah.
Two sides. Anyway, I was on the left hand side, and I think I was probably third off the start on my side, and I made a pass and got into second, and then a guy in front of me just hit the picks for some reason, and I don't know what he was doing, but he hit the brakes, and I was moving too fast to avoid him and just went straight up the back, and I we didn't crash, but like we came to a complete stop on a hill. So like by the time I got started again, we had a few other bikes past us, and then it took a little bit to make a few passes on the sketchy down, which we could see. But
I haven't had just chat with the other guys, but I asked you at the start, how'd you go on your track walk? You checked out all the new stuff out there, and you sort of gave me the impression that you didn't even go for a track walk.
I wasn't right coming into this event, as I said, and some of the other boys, Gatto and Bucky, said, "Oh, come on, let's go walk up Tangles," and I did that, and I went, I got back, and I went, I'm not doing it anymore. Because not right.
I'm pretty sure I've never seen you come to an event without doing a track walk.
No, I'm pretty anal on it, and I definitely noticed not doing the track walk. I was coming into sections and stuffing some sections up, and
because what would we say, like 80% of that track was brand new. A lot of it you've never seen before.
Yeah, a lot of it, 100% is new, and just knowing, where to set yourself up, where to put the bike or where to put the tyres to get yourself the best run up to attack things, and you make mistakes, and I've made a few mistakes. The first few hills.
I personally seen that you went up some shaly, rocky, little off-cambered section, and you rutted the back wheel straight away, and then you had to just dig in and push like you were packing into a scrum.
Yeah, and then I think I got stuck behind a few of the other boys as well, so I had to sort of push out of those sections, and when I'm fit I can sort of push pretty hard, and I would have recovered from that, whereas this time my heart rate spiked and it never came back down.
And look, you have admitted in years gone by you're not the sprint specialist, you're the endurance specialist.
Definitely not. I'm definitely no good at sprints. I have been working on it, and it became one of my strengths last year, so definitely got some strength, some sprint strength left in me. I can definitely be competitive, and I know I can be competitive, but definitely more of an endurance guy for sure.
Okay, so your result, was it fourth Saturday? Third?
Fourth Saturday, third today, yeah.
So you're fourth on the grid. We've gone 30-second gaps because of the dust. How'd you feel about that? You got good 2 minutes between you and first place.
It was fine, honestly. I was just trying to salvage points. I didn't expect to finish on the podium. I just wanted to get through the day. I just thought I'm just going to cruise, and that's what I did. I just cruised and just tried to get as many laps under my belt as possible. And yeah, it wasn't until sort of toward the later stages of the race that I started feeling a bit how you going, and just thought I'm not going out for the last lap.
There's no point denying it. You won't be happy with the result.
No,
It may be the best result you could have recovered for the feeling of illness, but
you always want to win, but you got to be realistic too. Like, you
can't win them all.
You can't win them all, and I'm feeling pretty off. So,
but
it's as good as I didn't think I was going to get third, so I'm happy with that.
But you have won series before without winning a race, so this championship's not over by any means.
No, I think I did win one. I think I won one.
Yeah. But you don't have to win them all to win the series.
It's all about consistency, and it's.
And the way we design the format where points are accumulated for both days, so next round you just got to get a couple of good ones and you're back in the fight.
Yeah, and then last year too, we only had 4 rounds in the series, whereas this year we've got 5 rounds. So we've got a little bit more time up our sleeve to claw back some points that we might have possibly lost. But look, I'm happy with that, and the boys are riding well. Ruben's riding really well. Wade's riding well. So, and like the Gatto and Houston, they're all nipping at our heels. So. Well, we're going to see some cool stuff from those boys pretty soon, I reckon.
It's good that you just brought up young John Gatt, and I hope to track him down in the pits here somewhere and have a chat to him. But where did he come from? Where did John Gatt come from?
Don't know. He's Gatto's a legend. He's always one. He's always trains really hard, and he puts in a lot of effort. So you can't put in that amount of effort and not see the results. So.
Without being disrespectful in any way, John has been a mid-packer in gold for the last year or so, and now all of a sudden he's in the top 5.
I wouldn't say all of a sudden. No, I think.
You reckon it's?
Yeah, I think.
You reckon it's been coming?
Yeah, we've been seeing Gatto's progression, and he's coming. He's coming for us.
It's well deserved. But I don't want to harp on about Gatto while I'm sitting with you, but hopefully I do catch up with him. He did do a little sneaky walk past you while I was videoing, so if anybody noticed the lad with the moustache from
cousin it just going past us.
Yeah, okay, we got it. But yeah, so anyways, let's drop Saturday for a while. Let's talk about today. How'd you go today?
Yeah, pretty good. As I said, I started in 4th, and the boys are like, "Oh, we're coming for you." I'm like, "To take it, mate." Like, no worries. When you pass me, just give me a wave on the way through.
Well, you knew that Wade and Ruben had gone out for that final lap. Did you come back into the pits in time to get out?
Yeah, I did, and I could have done that other lap. But that last lap I fair through the anchor. I started not feeling right, and my vision was a bit blurred and couldn't really see properly. So when I came back into the pits, I just said, it's probably not the safest option or the smartest option to go back out.
But now knowing that Wade DNF'd that last lap, it would have put you into 2nd.
Seriously, I made the right decision.
Okay. Yeah, your health is more important than a couple of points at a race meet.
Yeah, and then we've got Erzberg coming up too, and I want to make sure I'm fit and healthy for that. Like, the last thing I need is an injury. So, you can risk it all for a 2nd place, or you can just do the smart and consistent thing and just stick with the 3rd.
What change are you going to make between now and the next race?
A few little changes. We've been working with a few things on the bike, and like as I said, we've being in a race condition, we see what works and what didn't work, and I've got a pretty good idea of what worked and what didn't work now. So we'll go back and we'll do a little bit more testing and fine tune.
The next Hard Enduro race isn't part of the series, but the next Australian series round is up in Esk, and it's a brand new property, never been touched by a bike with anger. It's gonna be a loose, wild property. I've done an inspection, I've done a lap of it.
Yep.
Does it concern you going to a new place? You just don't care, or?
Nah, it is what it is. It's new for everyone, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Do you put in the same effort when you're going to these overseas races as you are for the Australian races? Is it? I'm trying to get to how much are you putting in off race season to get ready for the race season?
Fair bit, yeah.
Is it consuming you? Is it part of your life now? Like, Is it?
It's pretty much a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not getting paid full-time wages.
No.
It's essentially a full-time job, and yeah, you've got to love it to really do it. Like, it's a lot of, the pre-season is like the most important thing, and because once you start the season, you generally don't want to keep making changes, and you want to try to maintain the fitness you've created in that pre-season. So the pre-season is everything.
Are you at your fittest?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, not this weekend.
Not the healthiest, but the fittest.
Certainly the fittest I've ever been and strongest I've ever been at this point, yeah.
Well, if it's the fittest, the strongest you've ever been, you can't ask for more than that.
No.
Because you've been able to win it before.
That's it. But everyone's putting in the work, so it's...
When we say everybody, this guy over the back, he hasn't done a single fig and he's won the bloody race.
Yeah, but he's an outlier. We don't talk about him.
Did you think he was going to get it this week?
Yeah, honestly, he would have been my pick, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. When Wade's on, he's on. And
after last season, I thought it was you and Ruben again, and then all of a sudden Wade's just come out of nowhere.
So last season suited me a bit because it was wet. I generally ride a little bit.
You've said that for a couple of years now. You love the wet.
I generally do a little bit better in the wet, whereas when it's dry, the intensity's a lot higher, and
that speed just goes up a couple of Ks.
Yeah, these boys just, they're big, strong dudes and a lot taller than I am, and they just muscle their way, and well, I mean, they're phenomenal riders, so they just make it work a bit better than I do. Whereas when it's wet, I can sort of take my time a little bit more and get things right, and that's how I pick them off.
It is what you're saying is right there. Any race that Wade's had to be able to go fast, he's made the most of it.
It's dry conditions.
Yeah, he's not scared to go fast, that guy.
No, and he's a phenomenal rider. So I
wonder if he knows how fast he's actually going. Because yesterday and today, I seen that bike do speeds that I was nervous for him. So, anyways, well, mate, is there anybody else you want to thank for getting you back into this season? We know you're with Sherco. You've talked about those. Is there anybody else?
Sherco, certainly Chad's off-road setups. I mean, he's been at the event here trying to make sure everything's right.
Chad drops everything for you guys, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He literally would do anything for anyone. Like, he's an absolute legend. TSP, they've been putting in a lot of work in this off-season trying to get the bike right, and
so that's two-stroke support, performance.
Yeah.
So they're setting your engine up for you. Are you using? He builds his own heads and stuff.
Yeah, so they're basically a replacement for or exchange for the stock head. So they're putting their own head, and you can change different inserts, low comp, medium comp, high comp heads, and then they've also got a product called an ERM, which you can basically remap the bike and adjust it to suit what your needs are.
If I ring up TSP and I say, look, this young lad is kicking ass out there on his Sherco, I want that same setup. Is there one there on the shelf? Do you have the Anthony Solar engine?
Yeah, so you could pretty much go and look at all our maps from previous years, and basically get this ERM, download it, download a map from our previous years, and go just upload it straight in your bike and go. Yeah, obviously it has to be it's a Sherco map, but
yeah, of course, you're not going in there for your beta to get a Sherco map.
Correct, yeah.
But look, let's harp on about Chad. He's been with you for a long time. He's been helping you. How much time do you spend with him in pre-season?
This pre-season, look, Chad, we both put in a lot of work. Chad puts in an enormous amount of work. This is probably the least amount of testing we've done in an off-season, purely because it is a new bike, so we didn't want to do too much further testing on the old model because it might not relate to the new model. So we sort of took us a while to get our hands on a...
So when you say testing, what's happening there? We know he's got a mobile truck, he's got a workshop on wheels. Is he rocking up to your place and you're doing it there? Is a meeting out somewhere on a track?
Yeah, so we'll chat pretty frequently, and we'll spitball ideas, and we'll say, hey, I'll go, Chad, the bike's doing this. What if we do X, Y, Z? And he'll go, oh, well, if we change this shim or that shim or the other, or it's pretty complicated. And I don't really understand it too much. But
you just say one's softer or harder.
Oh, yeah, and the more and more testing I do with him, the more and more I learn, and the more and more ideas I can put to the table.
Yeah.
But we're just basically trying new things, and sometimes it's...
But is that what's going on? He's in the truck, he's got a pair of forks ready to go, you're out on a set of forks.
Yeah, so we'll talk during the week, and then we'll go, oh, let's go out for a weekend, or let's go out for a day, and he'll you know, he'll put a few settings in, some compression stacks. He'll have some compression stacks ready or whatever it is, and we'll throw them in the forks or the shock, and we'll just test different things, and we'll spend the day testing different settings.
Okay, we're on the suspension chat now. My very short to advice to anybody wanting to get in hard enduro is run your bike soft. Soften everything up. Is that something that you would agree with, or are you riding at a speed that you need your stuff to be a bit harder?
It's a hard one, because sometimes people go, oh, I need to have it softer, I need to have it softer, but it could be that your forks aren't recovering. You know, you're getting a harsh feeling from the bike, and it could very well be your forks are too soft, so you're blowing through the stroke and it's not recovering for the following or the third or the fourth bump. So
so straight away that tells me you are riding faster than an average rider, because an average rider isn't hitting the third or fourth bump like you are.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. You'd certainly be surprised. There is, suspension's definitely, you know, suited to each rider. Like, you need it tuned to each rider.
It's the first excuse.
Yeah, but generally, like, you know, you could get my setting and maybe back off. I'm actually quite firm at the moment, so you could probably back off a little bit, but if there's a general rule, like,
I've been actually thinking about this for a while now. One race, what I got to do as soon as you guys, the top 3 guys, finish doing a lap, is get on the bike while it's still hot and go for a ride and compare them and do a little video. One day we need to sit down and see if this is something we can do. So how much difference is between your bikes to an absolute novice, a non-pro? Because there's so many people blame their riding ability on their suspension.
But believe it or not, like, and I can only speak for my bike because I know it, but Chad does do a lot with our suspension, but our settings aren't that far from stock. Like,
yeah,
you could jump on a stock Sherco and be quite competitive.
So there's no crazy gold valves in there and shimmies and all this stuff that he's making up?
It's definitely re-shimmed and adjusted, and there are, you know, different things that he puts in to make things more comfortable and compliant. But it's pretty close to stock. Like, I could jump on a stock bike and be not far off my times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could just ride it dead.
What do you do when you go to Erzberg? Do you take the suspension with you, or do you ring somebody ahead of you and tell you this is the setup I've been running?
Yeah, we take our suspension.
Yeah.
And like our settings are, our Hard Enduro setup is slightly softer than a stock Sherco. So I actually use the stock suspension for Prologue, because Erzberg's got a real fast Prologue. I'll run that just to give it a little bit more hold up, and I can just hit things a little bit harder. So it just shows you how good the stock suspension is. Like,
yeah, like, man, I'm a lot heavier than I should be, and I ride a stock KTM 300, and I'd never bother touching any of the setup.
Yeah,
I'd try not to blame it.
Yeah,
just my riding ability to suit.
Some guys are heavier and some guys are lighter than others. You might need different spring rates, but generally speaking, like, yeah, the stock is generally pretty good.
Have you modded this bike for your size this year? I know you have in past years.
Yeah, so I've actually lowered the subframe the same as I did on the last model, but I'm in two minds about it, to be honest. I don't know if it works as well on this model. I'm still yet to decide. I'm going to go back. I've got another stock subframe, so I'll put that back in, and I'll back-to-back test it, and I'll just get an idea of you know, what I want to run type thing. It's just more testing.
All right, man. Well, look, it's been awesome catching up with you. I really hope that next round you're 100% healthy and you're fit and you're up there, and I want to see nothing better than watching you guys race to the finish line on the last lap. It's happened a few times, and it gets us excited watching it. And you know, we don't want one guy getting away because his bike, you know, nothing worse than a win because a bike failed.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine you would agree.
I'll give that one to Wade. I reckon he won, even though the results don't show it. He won that one.
And it's a shame that he doesn't get to take the trophy for it. And you would admit you'd hate to beat him because his bike failed as well. There's no,
for sure.
Yeah, you want to beat him on the hill climb. You know, you don't want to beat him in the pits.
Yeah, you might have won, but you don't. It's not the same.
Yeah. The chat with Ruben, he agreed. He doesn't want to win due to default. He wants to beat him on the hill. So,
correct.
Mate, I hope next round you are, elbows up, bashing into each other.
Well,
and
we'll all be back from Erzberg. We'll all be pretty jet lagged, so we'll be flying straight from Erzberg straight to AHEC.
So you're coming off the airport at Brisbane and straight to the track?
Flying from Erzberg straight to AHEC. I think I'm in Brisbane for a week and a half, and then a day after the race, fly out to Romania to start training for Romania.
We didn't even talk about Romania. You've done Romania a couple of times, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've done 2 years. I've done a year of silver and a year of gold.
And you were like the first Aussie to finish gold. Is that?
I think I'm still the only Aussie who's finished it.
It's a bit of a brag that you got there with that one. That's
yeah, it is a bit.
It's a humble brag, but it's a good brag. What do you got to do to get a place there? Do you think you'll ever be able to get in that top 10?
Look, I think we're riding really well at the moment. But just going to a different country and trying to be competitive, we don't have our own setups. We don't have our own, like the food's not the same. The people are different. We don't have all our tools and creature comforts that we do have here. So it is a little bit harder to be competitive. Maybe not myself, but I think in a few years we've got some good up-and-comers coming through, and I think we'll be competitive in the near future.
I've actually just had that chat with Ruben, and I believe it strongly. Nazi has dominated every division of motorcycling at some point, except for hard enduro.
And it's a bit of a trials thing too. Like, the UK riders generally do a lot better in hard enduro than the rest of the world because they've got that trials background. They've got good depth of trials. And trials just gives you the fundamentals you need for hard enduro.
We know Tim Coleman was a big trials guy. We know Ruben was a big trials guy. Were you a big trials guy?
No. I had a trials bike and I rode it after work or whatever, but no, I was never a trials guy.
You bought it because you thought, well, these guys have got one, I might as well buy one too.
I'm like, I'll give this thing a go.
And then you realise trials riding is a hell of a lot harder than it actually looks.
Yeah, I've still got it. I ride it once every couple of years.
Did you ever do a trials day?
Yeah,
Did you ever go out?
Yeah, I've done a few trials events.
Yeah,
they're actually really good fun.
I went and bought one and I thought, oh, this will be easy. I'll rock up a trials event and win this, and then absolutely got my ass handed to me.
It's hard.
It's a whole other way of riding.
Yeah.
It's nothing. I actually felt that at times I probably would have rode through sections on my big bike easier than I would on my trials bike.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
But these guys on trials bikes were doing it so easy.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to get on this trials bike and do wheelies on it for miles and endos and all this stuff that you see guys doing. And then you realise it's not as easy as it looks.
No.
So you got to give it. Yeah, Ruben's over there doing backflips on it.
He can keep that.
Mate, look, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Like I just said a moment ago, I want to see you guys bash it to the finish line. I don't want to see anybody getting away with it easy. So you keep these other guys honest, or are they going to keep you honest? Because you're the one they're chasing.
We'll find out. Whoever's sitting got the most points at the end of the year, you'll know then.
Hey, go hard. Thanks a lot.
So.